So guys, we just reached the place of Amwas. Now this location on our way to Tel Aviv is a very famous location because here a plague took place, and the plague is named after the place called Amwas. And in this plague, what happened was that because of Baitul Maqdis, its importance and the emphasis given upon it in the Islamic tradition, and also the expeditions, the early expeditions in Islam, when the expansion of the Muslim lands occurred and the conquering of this land of Palestine occurred, a lot of companions of the Prophet and the following generation migrated here. Garrisons were set up and villages were created and people moved here in their droves. And here we had a plague which began. And in this plague, what happened was thousands and thousands of companions of the Prophet that were based in this location died of this plague. And this plague was a severe calamity because not just a few hundred, but they say up between 25 to 35,000 individuals, 35,000 companions and followers of the Prophet were buried here. Now, what you're going to see is we're going to show you the tombstones here, and we're going to show you some of the. There's actually no tombstones. There are rocks, large rocks placed demarcating a grave. But here, the newly created sort of state, shall we say, have decided to make this a amusement sort of place, a place for leisure, a place for having parties, barbecues, going for a walk. And there's no harm in that as long as the Muslim identity and of it being a cemetery dedicated to the companions of the Prophet and the early generations of Islam who came here are respected. There's all these rocks, these large rocks just behind me and all around. Those large rocks demarcate graves of companions of the Prophet. So 35,000, if we look at the higher number, that is a huge amount of people buried here. And especially people who are associated with the earliest history of Islam. Let's go on and show you more. Little walk down these paths, and the path, I'll just show you. These large stones were actually markers of graves. These stones that have been used to create the path, they actually marked graves of companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So these stones, all this, obviously you cannot tell that this is a place where so many people are buried and so many people who are revered in the history of Islam, because these stones have been moved and all these stones have been placed there to create a path. And as you can see, it's just been turned into sort of a park. And it's a lovely park. It is very peaceful walking here. It is very nice and tranquil. But let's keep going. We're approaching here is a mosque. This is a mosque now, but there's no mention of it being a mosque, right? Nobody mentions anything here regarding it being a mosque. In fact, they've got barbed wire, a very ubiquitous symbol. Look at these stones. Look at the size of this stone. Again, let's go into the mosque. Just look at these stones. These are gravestones. This is a grave here. All these are graves. 25 to 30,000 individuals. Here's another grave. And this is a derelict mosque. Oh.
Some people kind of group would you like to go down, but I advise be very careful. You go this way. Watch, these are graves. Don't stand on the graves. These are.
This is the remains of a mosque, Seems like a very old mosque in the graveyard, the Muslim graveyard of companions of the Prophet. And here you have almost like a mihrab here.
Okay, so they've sealed it up. You could actually go in there and see the very, very old structure. As you can see, the condition of it. They don't allow. This is a grave. Be careful not to stand. So we'll go around, and as you look across, you will see many other.
So this is the mosque
of Sahaba and Tabi'in. Carry on that way.
Oh yeah. علي ابن طالب صبيا كان شجاعا، عثمان بن عفان حكيما وله سلام، عمر الفاروق حكم فعدل فأمن، أبا بكر الصديق. These are the men who fought for freedom. These are the men who carried the beauty. Had to push away the demons, even though they were persecuted. They were closest to the greatest man, born to lead us through rain and storm, change the world through peace and love.
Have the derelict mosque which I've just been filming. It's a very sad state that the mosque is in. It's just been left to ruin, and there's no notice, there's no board, there's nothing telling us its history, its background. You see, when other things are found by others, they tend to dig up and create lavish and you know, brilliant looking sort of markings to tell you what it is, and walkways. But this has been left to rot, and of course if it just rots and withers away, it's the best thing for some people. But this is just behind me. And the graveyard behind me, and that's the mosque. You can see 3 little domes on top, and this is Amwas. Now, as you can see, that's a graveyard. It is thoroughly Islamic in origin. Its history is Islamic. There are graves and graves and graves of grand Muslim personalities who moved here to spread the message of the Prophet. But there's no mention. It's absolute. And if you don't know about this place, or you've never been here, you wouldn't even think anything of it.
I'm just grateful enough for their care and their love. I'm just grateful enough, praising Iman higher. خديجة آمنت بوحي نزل أمانة، حليمة السعدية أم ولها حنانة، فاطمة الزهراء بنت رسول هداية، عائشة الجليلة. These are the women who sacrificed life that took the world right by surprise. I pray my mother, my daughter, my wife emulates them and reach new.
This particular grave looks like someone special might be buried here, because look, it's got someone still put blocks around it to demarcate it. That's an sort of Ottoman era grave, but these are all graves, and it goes all the way up the hill, and that looks like, I don't know, it could be a very important Sahabi or someone who is buried here. As you can see, there's a heap of turf or soil there which has been removed. I don't think an animal would do that, but there you are. Another Muslim site desecrated.
These are the women who led the line, perfect lives for the perfect price. I pray to God that I'm certified.
Io forse dopo parentesi da parete, no?
paddock.
See these gravestones here, they're demarcated. These are graves. Can you see this way? There are some major companions buried here, like Ubaidah bin Jarrah, who is a very famous military commander of the time of the Prophet. And this plague affected a lot of people. There are bodies spread in Jordan and even Egypt of people who have suffered from this plague. Look at these. These are all graves of famous individuals. But there's no names because there was no practice of putting names on these graves. And that's the mosque at the back. Someone's having a party. So here we are now walking in Lud, and we're just going to a place which has some eschatological significance. Right, this is my final piece on this tour of Israel, Jerusalem, Palestine, and I'm in a place called Lud. And this place is where something significant will happen, because we were talking about past events relating to Beit al-Maqdis, the Holy Land. We've been talking about current events, everyone knows them, what's going on. But now we're going to look at something which is a future event. So we have past events, current events, and future events. And now we're going to look at where Isa alayhi salam would kill the Dajjal, the Antichrist, according to Islamic tradition. And of course, this Antichrist also features in the Jewish tradition and the Christian tradition, all with their own theological connotations and even political. So we're going to head across and spot where it will all occur. This is a spot just behind me where it's all going to occur, where Jesus will descend and kill the Antichrist and signal the end of times. So there we have it. It's a perfect location for us to end our tour of Al-Aqsa, Jerusalem, Israel, Palestine. I mean, just got to be politically correct in saying all those names, but this is the end point, and significant because we started where Adam built the second house of God, i.e. Beit al-Maqdis, and we've ended where the final days before the end of times will occur. So many end of times prophecies are fulfilled in this very land, as are early times, and this is where it's all going to end. And from now I'm just going to proceed to the airport and hopefully see you back in England. So what's the weather like there? Give us a like, give us a share, give us a subscribe. It's been a great tour of Palestine. It's been a great tour of Aqsa, and yeah, get yourself down here. It's the place to be. There's no problem getting here. And yeah, come in numbers and enjoy Al-Aqsa al-Sharif.